All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. We're going to start in just a minute. We're going to let everyone get into the room. All right. Happy Thursday, everyone, and welcome to the Trauma Webinar Series hosted by the Trauma Awareness Steering Committee of Clare County. My name is Roz Kindle, and I am the facilitator of the TASC team and also the Prevention Education Coordinator from the Northern Michigan Alliance for Children. Our TASC group is a multidisciplinary team made up of agencies in Clare County, such as the Child Advocacy Center, DHHS, law enforcement, schools, 1016, the RESD, RISE Advocacy, and more, committed to continuing to spread awareness to build a resilient, trauma-informed community. Our goal is that all community members have the tools and knowledge they need to ensure that Clare County is a safe place to live, learn, and flourish. So today with us, we have Holly and Emily, and they will be talking about emotional regulation and relaxation for youth and adults. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Holly and Emily, for your time today. And to give you a little background about our two speakers today, Holly is a social worker with over 10 years experience in child welfare and clinical social work. Her career began in Michigan's child welfare system, working in case management, supervision, and program management. Today, Holly works full-time as a youth intervention specialist with Community Mental Health for Central Michigan. She also operates her own private therapy practice in her hometown of Harrison. Holly holds a bachelor's degree in social work from SVSU, and she obtained a master's in social work from Grand Valley State University, and currently holds her clinical social work license. Holly's heart and passion have always been in helping others grow and see their full potential. And then we have Emily. Emily is a social worker with 5 years experience in child welfare and clinical social work. Her career began in Hands Across the Water in Ann Arbor, Michigan as a visitation specialist and then as a parent education specialist. Today, Emily works as a parent education specialist. Today, Emily works as an outpatient therapist for Community Mental Health for Central Michigan, where she spends her time divided between Farwell Elementary and Hillside Elementary. Emily had obtained her bachelor's degree in social work from Eastern Michigan University, and she continued on to earn her master's degree in social work from Madonna University. So just a few reminders of today. You all are muted. We will have about 30 minutes of information from these two ladies and then a 15-minute Q&A at the end. Please feel free to drop your questions in the chat box, and we will get to those at the end of our webinar today. Our webinar will be recorded today and is streamed live on Facebook for future viewing. So at this time, I will hand it over to Emily and Holly. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. So we are from Community Mental Health for Central Michigan out of the Clare County office. The Community Mental Health for Central Michigan serves 6 counties, including Clare, Isabella, Gladwin, Acosta, Midland, and Osceola. Our services are provided from all ages, starting birth with infant mental health. Some of the other services that CMH offers include case management, home-based health services, the supported employment specialists, autism services, the ACT team, and additional ones. Tell about the
as a youth intervention specialist, I am based here in Farwell at the high school, which is where Emily and I are now. So if you hear any bells or noises, that's what's happening. But what I do is I meet with youth here at the school who have been identified to have any red flags of any kind of mental health concerns, past trauma, or just are struggling or just need someone to talk to. So I'm able to meet with them, review with them what's going on, and come up with a good plan to help support them here in the school. I work really collaboratively with the school staff, including the teachers, social workers, just folks who are here at the school. So really just trying to support those youth and help give them a really positive high school experience.
I am an outpatient therapist, and I'm placed in Farwell and Hillside Elementaries. And my role in the school is to meet with students that either parents or school staff have identified as needing extra supports, whether it be as Holly said, from a past trauma, or maybe there are some things going on that the kid could use some support in working through. So I'm able to meet with students here in the school and also work with families when they are able to come into the school when allowed or over Zoom. So I take a whole family approach and work with the schools and the family to support the students here. So emotion regulation, Holly will introduce now.
Emotion regulation is sort of what the whole presentation is going to be about. So that's the ability to manage emotions and behaviors in times of uncertainty and stress. And we all know over this last year or so, there's been a lot of that happening for our youth and adults. And so emotional regulation can help to bring some consistency back into daily life routines. And it can also be helpful if youth are struggling with transitions and helping them get through those. So it can be helpful ways it can be helpful is to include it when asking a youth to stop playing a video game or come in from outside or to work on schoolwork, get ready for bed. Those things they don't really want to do. So it can help them to transition from those, but it can also help them day to day just in their everyday life. So it's a skill that really requires practice and support from others that the youth trusts in order to master it. So some of the skills we're going to talk about today, we're going to introduce quickly, and then we're going to show you guys a video of how they can be used. Emily and I are in both videos, and then also my stepdaughter makes an appearance in a couple of them. So just know that she is a family member. She's not an actual client, so no confidentiality is being broken at all. But some of those skills, the first one is going to be logical thinking. And while you're watching the piece on logical thinking, be thinking about what situations this might be useful in, and also be thinking about why do we think kids tend to jump to worst case scenario? And you'll see that in the video, how that happens. The next one will be pizza breathing. And this one is really good if kids like pizza. If they don't, you can use some variation. You can use soup, flowers, etc. Anything you smell deeply and then release air is what the skill will be. And you'll see that as we go through it on the video. Be thinking about how we can get used to use this skill. And again, practice, 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 and model, model, model. If we can model for our youth this technique and actually label it for them when we're doing it as adults, it will definitely help them to use it more naturally. The other one is going to be robot to spaghetti. And this one, I really want you guys to be thinking about how you can remind youth to use this. A lot of people have different tips and tricks, and we'll talk about that in the video a little bit, but be thinking about how a youth you know and how you might be able to get them to use this during moments of crisis.
After the robot to spaghetti will be guided imagery, which is an activity that can be done either through audio cues or with different apps or websites, which you listen to a scenario and just follow the instructions that are given. And guided imagery will help relax your body, and it is a mindfulness practice. And following guided imagery is progressive muscle relaxation, which is also known as PMR. Again, a mindfulness practice, which helps to release tension out of the muscles in the body, which will be able to increase the logical thinking that will be covered in the beginning of the video as well. Both of these exercises are a little more time consuming. They're lengthy, 5 to 7 minutes, depending on the script that is used. So it may be helpful to build these into your day ahead of time so that you have time for them at stressful parts of the day. And here is the video. Let me get this pulled up for you guys.
Hi, everyone. Hey, Lane, what's the matter?
It's never gonna stop raining. I'll never get to go outside.
Yeah, I could see where that would be a fear of yours, but has it ever continued to rain every single day and you never got to go outside?
No.
No. Usually it lets up, right? And a sunny day comes.
Yeah.
So if you think logically, we know that you'll get to go outside soon, right? So that's an example of talking your child through logical thinking. Children oftentimes will generalize things to make them sound much worse than the reality actually is. So if we're able to bring them back to reality by giving examples from real life that have already occurred, typically we can get them back to thinking logically and have them less stressed out about the current day experience that they're experiencing. Lady, it's time to go to bed.
I don't want to go to bed.
Now, lady, it sounds like you're kind of frustrated. What do we do to help ourselves calm down when we're frustrated?
The breathing.
Right. Now, how does that feel? Good. To help your children do pizza breathing, it's really easy to explain. You have them hold their hand out like they're holding the pizza, breathe in like they're smelling it, and blow on it to cool it down. Do that 3 times and it will help regulate their emotions. Lady, it's time to do your homework. I have a fresh new packet from Mrs. Wynn.
I don't want to do homework.
Lane, come on. It's time to do it. Lainey, I can see your muscles tighten up and it looks like you might be getting angry. How do we calm our muscles down when we're angry? That's right. How do we do it? That's right. So when kids get angry, typically the first thing that's going to happen is their muscles are going to tense. If we teach them to release that tension and act like they're a spaghetti noodle, it can help release the anger and help them calm down and get back to the logical thinking part of their brain.
Hi, my name is Emily Lamori, and I'm an outpatient therapist at Community Mental Health for Central Michigan. Today, I'm going to guide you through an exercise that is called Leaves on the Stream. This exercise asks you to watch your thoughts for a few minutes. Close your eyes and picture a stream. The stream has trees around it, and leaves can fall from the trees into the stream and float by you. When you notice a thought arise in your mind, picture it as a leaf and watch it fall into the stream and float away. Some thoughts will appear as words, some as pictures or images. Whatever your form your thoughts take, picture them as leaves and watch them fall into the stream and float away. Don't try and control your thoughts or fight with your thoughts. Just notice, just witness the thoughts. After all, the mind is a thought-generating machine. You might find yourself thinking, I have no thoughts. That is a thought. Picture it as a leaf and watch it fall and float away on the stream. Sometimes you will find yourself thinking more about the thought. That is okay and to be expected. There is no need for judgment or self-criticism. Simply acknowledge and accept when you become aware. Let the thought go like a leaf on the stream and watch it float away. Bring your attention back to your breathing and notice what thoughts come into consciousness. And when you notice, simply let them go like leaves down a stream. You may notice thoughts about this exercise, such as, I can't do this. Thank your mind, and let the thought go like a leaf floating away down the stream. Your mind may wander, and that is okay. When you become aware, come back to the present by focusing on your breathing. Then let that thought go, like a leaf on a stream. When you're ready to return to the room, slowly open your eyes and reacquaint yourself with your present moment experience. This exercise, again, was called Leaves on a Stream, and it can be done to help calm the body and mind at times when feelings are very elevated. This next exercise that I'm going to lead you through is called Progressive Muscle Relaxation. This is an exercise that reduces stress and anxiety in your body by having you slowly tense and then release each muscle. This exercise can provide an immediate feeling of relaxation. With this exercise, each muscle should be tensed, but not to the point of strain. If you feel you have an injury or pain, you can skip the affected area. Pay special attention to the feeling of releasing tension in each muscle and the resulting feeling of relaxation. I'm going to ask you to sit back or lie down in a comfortable position. Shut your eyes if you are comfortable doing so. Begin by taking a deep breath and noticing the feeling of air filling your lungs. Hold your breath for a few seconds. Release the breath slowly and let the tension leave your body. Take in another deep breath and hold it. Again, slowly release the air. Even slower now, take another breath. Fill your lungs and hold the air. Slowly release the breath and imagine the feeling of tension leaving your body. Now move your attention to your feet. Begin to tense your feet by curling your toes and the arch of your foot. Hold on to the tension and notice what it feels like. Release the tension in your foot. Now notice the new feeling of relaxation. Next, begin to focus on your lower leg. Tense the muscles in your calves. Hold them tightly and pay attention to the feeling of tension. Release the tension in your lower legs. Again, notice the feeling of relaxation. Remember to continue taking deep breaths. Next, tense the muscles of your upper legs and pelvis. You can do this by tightly squeezing your thighs together. Make sure you feel tenseness without going to the point of strain. Again, release. Feel the tension leave your muscles. Begin to tense your stomach and chest. You can do this by sucking your stomach in. Squeeze harder and hold the tension a little bit longer. Release the tension. Allow your body to go limp. Let yourself notice the feeling of relaxation. Continue taking deep breaths. Breathe slowly in, noticing the air fill your lungs, and hold it. Release the air slowly. Feel it leave your lungs. Next, tense the muscles in your back by bringing your shoulders behind you. Hold them tightly. Tense them as hard as you can without straining and keep holding. Release the tension from your back. Feel the tension slowly leaving your body and the new feeling of relaxation. Notice how different your body feels when you allow it to relax. Tense your arms all the way from your hands to your shoulders. Make a fist and squeeze all the way up your arm. Hold it. Release the tension from your arms and shoulders. Notice the feeling of relaxation in your fingers, hands, arms, and shoulders. Notice how your arms feel limp and at ease. Move up to your neck and your head. Tense your face and your neck by distorting the muscles around your eyes and mouth. Release the tension. Again, notice the new feeling of relaxation. Finally, tense your entire body. Tense your feet, legs, stomach, chest, arms, head, and neck. Tense harder, but without straining. Hold the tension. Relax. Allow your whole body to go limp. Pay attention to the feeling of relaxation and how different it is from the feeling of tension. Begin to wake your body up slowly by moving your muscles. Adjust your arms and legs. Stretch your muscles and open your eyes when you're ready. Holly and I would like to thank you guys for joining us to learn about So those were the 5 different techniques that we had to share with you today. And we wanted to remind you that the most important part out of all of these is that it's vital to practice them because it is not a skill that's going to come naturally. So the practice will help create that muscle memory and allow, sorry about that, and will allow these skills to become a little more second nature.
Yeah, and I always remind youth that the more we practice, it's just like why we practice things at school, like a fire drill or why we practice basketball. It's so that we can remember how to do it in the moment that we're asked to. And so they'll often think that it's kind of silly to practice.
Students, a very important message. Ignite
When
work to cancel that for school tonight due to
Okay, sorry, the announcements were going off. So we want to remember that it's really important to practice these things so that when we do have to use the skills in the time of crisis, they are there and they're ready for us to use. And also, it's really important for parents and not just youth. Youth need to see adults they trust modeling these skills. So if you are getting frustrated, taking a deep breath and saying to your child, "Did you see how I just did that? I was able to take a deep breath and calm myself down," so that they understand what you mean when you're asking them to use these techniques.
So we have some time here at the end. If there are any questions that anybody may have for us, now would be a great time for those.
We're actually going to jump right into our survey in a minute. So thank you guys for all that great information. Really helpful to learn about those skills that we can use not only as adults caring for children and working with children, but also with our children. So thank you for all of those. I'm going to hand it over to Tammy and she's going to kind of walk us through if there's any questions that we can. Oh, I'm sorry, just kidding. We're going to do our survey first. We'd appreciate if everyone could participate in this, as this is our first trauma webinar series and we'd like to grow and improve on our services that we're providing.
And once the survey is over, we'll happily welcome questions. We wanted to have time for dialogue in case people had questions or concerns, things like that. So
please remember to social distance and wear your mask at all times.
No questions yet.
okay.
Okay, we have a question. At what age do you recommend introducing these techniques?
Well, the initial ones that we went through, the logical thinking, the pizza breath, and the spaghetti noodle, and there's obviously many more. Those are just some of our favorites. Those I would implement as early as possible. They can really teach that emotional regulation. So when your youth starts to gain that feeling vocabulary, being able to teach them how to manage them is really important. So as soon as you notice any kind of dysregulation, teach them how to regulate themselves. That's the most important part. And that can come in, temper tantrums that are completely developmentally normal. We know that. We know kids have temper tantrums. But allowing them to learn those during that time is really important, the younger, even if they're young. The guided imagery and the progressive muscle relaxation, again, those can really be taught at any age. guided. It might be harder for them to maintain their focus, but walking them through that and teaching them how to do that is really important as well. Do you have anything to add?
The only thing that I really have to add is the second and the third graders that I work with have really enjoyed those experiences. So it is, they are techniques that can be taught quite young. The time frame for them being able to sit may not make it through the entire exercise, but again, just introducing it and getting them familiar with it is a really important first step.
Okay, we have another question. Have you ever had difficulty calming a child or adult down? If so, how did you handle it if someone is resistant to calming down?
Oh yeah. I think we could both say we probably have had that experience, probably more than once. And really, if they're resistant to calming down, if they're in a place that nothing seems to be working, remaining calm is the most important part. Oftentimes, if we escalate, the person that is already escalated is going to continue to escalate. So making sure that we stay nice and calm, bring our tone down. If they're standing, if it's safe to, try sitting so that you take away that power differential, which oftentimes can help people calm down. Really getting them back to a place where they can hear you suggesting they use their skills. If they're already so escalated they can't hear that or put that into practice, then really just staying with them so that they remain safe and you remain safe, staying calm yourself, being able to validate their frustration, label their feelings for them are things that are really going to be important. So if you see somebody really mad, I see you might be angry. What's causing you to be angry? Being able to label it for them so that they can begin to think more logically as well.
Okay, someone's shared a breathing exercise video, a link to YouTube. If anybody wants to look in the chat. What type of relaxation techniques have you found that works best for teens?
Let me take that one. Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, teens, for teens, I think it's really important, again, that labeling of their feelings. Everything is mad or sad or happy. And so being able to say, like, I see you're frustrated. And walking them through, okay, why are you frustrated? What does that mean? Now, how do we move past it? So letting them feel the feeling, but then walking them through, what do we do next to move through it? Oftentimes with youth in their teenage years, I will suggest they write things, but don't reread. So if they're journaling, bring it to me and then we can go through it together, but not sitting and ruminating over it. Also, to help them calm down again, it's just that power differential, taking that away. If you can safely sit if they're standing. Being able to meet them where they are and not try to fix the issue right away, but letting them express how they're feeling and know that they might just need you to listen sometimes is really important. As adults, we're quick to jump in and try to give advice. And oftentimes that's not what they're looking for in that moment. So being able to listen, being non-judgmental, taking away the power differential, having them write how they're feeling, I feel is really helpful. A lot of them enjoy music, so helping them to figure out what music helps to calm them down, and then letting them sit and listen to that for a moment. If it works with your youth, sometimes I suggest like a weighted blanket, if that's helpful for like sensory issues, just laying it over their lap. Things like that oftentimes will work as well.
Okay, the next question. Do you recommend using the techniques before trying to bring them back to logical thinking or after? And specifically curious with kiddos that have a lot of anxiety or separation anxiety.
I think the logical thinking can be a great first step, but if they're not at that point, if they're past it, then you would want to jump in with some of the other ones that we have talked about to kind of help relax them and get them in that right frame of mind, and then go to the logical thinking to help them understand and see what may be causing some of the issues that they're currently experiencing.
Yeah, for sure. And I think too, what we have to remember is our logical thinking part of our brain isn't working when we're overcome with emotion. We can't get into that logical thinking part. So the techniques, the deep breathing, the guided imagery, the progressive muscle relaxation, that will bring them back to that logical thinking part of their brain. And then that can be more useful in those moments.
Okay, another question. Are there any special techniques for helping kids calm down when there is more than one at a time? For instance, siblings fighting with another.
I think, experience has shown me that if possible to separate them, has been helpful. And then providing each with the attention and the chance to explain what they're feeling or helping them work through what they're feeling would be an appropriate first place to start. And then following whatever techniques they may have expressed interest in. If this is something you've tried in the past, certain techniques work better with certain kids. So finding what works well with your kiddos and then encouraging them to use those skills.
Okay, that's all the questions. Thank you.
Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you for all the great questions that were asked and all of you that were here today with us. And then thank you, Emily and Holly. You can find the recording of this webinar and then also all of our past webinars for the trauma webinar series on our Facebook page. It is at TASC Clare County on Facebook. So please like and follow us there for more information, other webinars and updates on what our group is working on. And then join us next week for What is Self-Care and Why is it Important with Ariana. Thank you guys so much, and we hope you have a great rest of your week.